A very good evening. You're watching Brass Tacks. I'm Akanksha Swaroop. Under Mohammed Yunus's watch, allegations of targeted violence, intimidation and forced displacement have mounted in Bangladesh. This has thousands of cases, real names, real complaints, yet the denials continue. This is not a rumor, this is not exaggeration as claimed by Bangladeshi media and Yunus's stooges. This is the truth. Over 2,900 documented cases of persecution and counting. Homes attacked, temples targeted, families living in fear while the establishment looks away. Yunus is of course claiming innocence, but leadership is not just about speeches and statements. Leadership is responsibility, and when mob rule replaces rule of law, silence becomes complicity. India has drawn its red line. The world is watching, and tonight on Brass Tacks, we cut through denial and demand answers, because justice delayed is justice denied, and persecution cannot be brushed under the carpet.
We have rejected the false narrative that has been projected in Bangladesh. You would understand that law and order or security situation or the developments that are happening in Bangladesh is the responsibility of the government of Bangladesh. The unremitting hostility against minorities in Bangladesh, including Hindus, Christians and Buddhists at the hands of extremists, is a matter of grave concern. Over 2,900 incidents of violence against minorities, including cases of killings, arsons, land grab, have been documented by independent sources. These incidents cannot be brushed aside as mere media exaggerations or dismissed as political violence.
So, India has formally flagged 2,900 documented incidents of violence against minorities in Bangladesh. But at home, a familiar chorus of apologists has moved swiftly to soften India's accusations and deflect. From clerics dismissing the violence as not genocide to political voices equating targeted attacks in Dhaka with unrelated lynching cases in India. In fact, Iltija Mufti of the PDP said that India is not Bharat or Hindustan. The name is Lynchistan. Her comments were echoed by many others like the AIMIM and a section of the Congress. Listen it.
देखिए, बांग्लादेश में जो हिंसा हो रही है उसकी पूरी तरह मैं मजम्मत करता हूं, कंडेम करता हूं, मैं घोर निंदा करता हूं। हम तो चाहेंगे कि भारत सरकार भी इंटरवीन करे, वहां की सरकारें जो है वो भी इंटरवीन करके रोके इसको कि कहीं पर भी माइनॉरिटी के ऊपर देखिए इस तरह अत्याचार नहीं होना चाहिए। वहां पर भी हो रहा है, हम कंडेम करते हैं। साथ ही साथ हमारे भारत देश के अंदर भी हो रही है ना मॉब लिंचिंग। हर आए दिन देखिए मुसलमानों को कभी गाय के नाम पे, कभी JSR नहीं बोला उसके नाम पे मॉब लिंचिंग कर देते हैं। तो हम तो उसकी भी निंदा करना चाहिए, सबको सब निंदा करना चाहिए। इस तरह की किसी को कायदा कानून अपने हाथ में लेने का अधिकार है ही नहीं।
बांग्लादेश में जो हुआ बिल्कुल गलत था, मैं उसका निषेध करता हूँ। इस तरह का होना बिल्कुल गलत। वहाँ जो हुआ वो गलत है, वहाँ होता है। यहाँ ये यही करते हो ना आप, यहाँ मुसलमानों का लिंचिंग का कम करते हो, लेकिन यहाँ हो रहा है वहाँ, इसलिए उधर होना चाहिए, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं। ये गलत बात है।
हत्या जो की जा रही है वो गलत है, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है। इस्लाम किसी की हत्या करने को नहीं कहता। जो लोग इसको जेनोसाइड कह रहे हैं, कहां से जेनोसाइड है मुझे बताइए आप। यहाँ के लोगों को उसकी क्या फिक्र। जो लोग हिंदुओं का दम भरते हैं, उनको सरहद के पार हिंदू मर रहा है उसकी तो फिक्र है, लेकिन अपने देश के अंदर मुसलमान मर रहा है उसकी फिक्र नहीं है।
But Bollywood, or at least one section of it, is also conspicuous with its silence. And now questions are being raised from within the film industry. Actor Jayaprada has questioned why some are silent in the name of secularism. Janhvi Kapoor called for condemnation of all forms of extremism. Meanwhile, actor Manoj Joshi questioned the selective outrage, asking why those who raised voice for Gaza will not speak up now. Actor Kajal Agarwal too sounded an alarm, terming this as a wake-up call for all Hindus. But the eyes that were once on Gaza seem to be now looking away. Alia Bhatt, who had shared a post on her Instagram speaking up for children in Gaza, is yet to speak on the children in Bangladesh. Or even Samantha Ruth Prabhu, who has been amplifying Instagram posts that call out Israel's attack on Rafah, has not shared a single post on Bangladesh. Priyanka Chopra, who highlighted the devastating impact of Israeli military operations on children in Gaza, has drawn silence. Well, let's talk about Radhika Apte. resharing a series on videos and posts about the Rafah attack, has not even shared a statement. There are many names, whether it is Dia Mirza or even Richa Chadha. The civilian atrocities in Gaza did merit that outrage. We are not against that. But don't the Hindu lives in Bangladesh matter too?
बांग्लादेश में टिप्पू चंद्र दास नाम के एक मासूम हिंदू भाई को भीड़ ने मिलकर मार डाला। सिर्फ मारा ही नहीं, उसे पेड़ पर बांधकर और उसे आग लगा दिया। यह सरासर मां लिंचिंग है, सीधा सनातन धर्म पर और हिंदुत्व पर प्रहार है।
देखो, ऐसा है कि गाजा या फिलिस्तीन में होता है तो सब लोग बाहर आते हैं, लेकिन जब बांग्लादेश में एक निष्पाप हिंदू को मारा जाता है तब कोई बाहर नहीं आता। ये बड़ी दुख की बात है।
All right, let me introduce my esteemed guests today. I'm joined in by Pinak Ranjan Chakrabarti, the ambassador, who is former Indian ambassador to Bangladesh and former secretary at the Ministry of External Affairs. Also joined in by Mr. Ashok Pandit, who is a renowned filmmaker. I'm being told Fawzia Arshi, who is a filmmaker, will also be joining in just a bit. But if I may come to you, Ashok Pandit, all eyes have always been on Rafah, but today no eyes on Bangladesh.
Well, Akanksha, good evening. You see, I have a long story to say as far as persecution and genocide of Hindus are concerned. When I suffered the worst genocide in Kashmir, where 4.5 lakh people, Hindus, had to leave their homes, and they suffered the worst persecution by Islamic fundamentalists, backed by Pakistan, the entire country was silent. And so-called agenda-driven who are crying on Palestine or crying on Gaza were also silent. Whenever Hindus are killed all over the world, there is a total silence in this country of ours, belonging to various professions. Because they feel that this is out of fashion. This is not fashion. It looks good when I talk about Gaza. It looks nice. I have seen performers, I have seen musicians, I have seen actors, I have seen huge, big writers, intellectual class of people. On stage, they talk about Gaza. They talk about Palestine, they talk about human rights violations. But looking at the visual of Deepu Das or now Amrit Mandal, how can you keep silence? The way he was taken away, the way he was handed over to the police handed over him to people who hanged him and who murdered and was burnt alive. Now this visual, a person, whether he's a Hindu or a Muslim, should not segregate, whether he is a Muslim or a Hindu. He was a Hindu, that's why you kept silent. Our industry, let me talk about, in fact, I should applaud Janvi, who took a lead, of this generation, who had the guts to talk about it, condemn this entire act of, killing and burning a Hindu. And I think the entire industry should take a lead, and Jaya Pradha and Manoj Joshi, all our friends, they have come up now. I really can't understand what makes you stop, what makes you silent wherever a Hindu is killed or massacred or the entire community is on the streets, on the roads.
Okay.
Why there is a difference? I today, with due respect to Javed Akhtar, who has been talking left, right and center on genocides, on killings and murders, he belongs to an intellectual caste. He should have been the first person to come out. He should have been the first person to condemn the killing and murder of Deepu Das and Amrit Mandal. But when it happens to some person with Khan or something like that,
okay,
you stand up. So you are creating a divide between both the communities. You are responsible for the selective activism, and selective activism is much more dangerous than anything else for a country.
Fawzia, do you think that the kind of selective activism that Ashok Pandit is also referring to is also, Bollywood is just an extension of what we are seeing play out in, say, the Indian polity? You have someone saying that this is in fact Lynchistan. Someone saying we are so concerned about the Hindus in Bangladesh, but not a word is being spoken about Muslims being lynched. Do you think that the situation in India can actually even be compared to what's happening in Bangladesh? And what about all of these apologists who are even refusing to admit that this is a genocide?
Well, first of all, I will say that whatever is happening in Bangladesh is really not good. It's very, very, very bad. It's very sad. But what Mr. Pandit is saying is really something not really welcoming, because to what extent we have become Hindus and Muslims. We should say a human is being killed. I would say that hate crime or mob lynching in India is in 2024-25, the cases that were registered were approximately 947. Do we talk about it? We don't talk about. I'm not talking about Hindus or Muslims. I'm talking about these many cases were registered. Do we talk? And secondly, why always do you expect Indian film industry? There are many other industries as well. There are cotton industries, there's steel industry, there are so many industries. Why Mr. Anand Mahindra is not saying anything? Why Mr. Tata is not saying anything? What Mr. Khorakiwala is not saying anything? Do you really bring them to such?
But do you not agree that the kind of reach that the Indian film industry has, perhaps not even the entrepreneurs and the billionaires of India?
Let us talk about the impact, ma'am. Let's talk about the impact.
Yes, so the outreach is directly related to the impact.
Okay, if it is directly, see, we are there, we are entertainers. We are the people who make people happy. We should not talk about propaganda. All the time, film industry should not be dragged and should not be questioned.
All right, then why are we lauding historic speeches for a Meryl Streep or a George Clooney delivering an anti-establishment speech on the Oscar stage?
Well, that film industry should be away. See, we are social people. We are responsible for everything and anything which happens in the world, especially in India. We should concentrate and that what is happening in India. This is a human tendency peeping out in the neighbor's door, in the neighbor's house. Bangladesh is not our country; it's neighbor. Yes, we should condemn. We should talk. Our government should give statements. Why not only?
But Palestine is.
Palestine is also neighbors. We should not talk about that so much.
All right, Ashok Pandit, then perhaps all of Bollywood or the entire Indian cinema should remain as mute spectators. Is that what we are currently coming to?
No, Akanksha, we belong to this country first and nation comes first. So
Yeah.
Bollywood people are not gods. They don't belong to a different world altogether. They belong to this country. So if anybody from this country or the person belonging to this country is affected, it's our concern also. This Aman Ki Asha thing has gone to dogs. Doesn't mean anything. And I really want to raise one issue, Akanksha. Fauzia says that this is a propaganda. I get killed, I get murdered, I get raped, I am hanged, I am burnt, and when I'm narrating my tragedy, it becomes a propaganda. But when you talk about Gaza, when you talk about Palestine, that's not propaganda. This entire complex of a film like Dhurandhar comes, it's a propaganda. A film like Kashmir Files comes, it's propaganda. A film like Kerala Story comes, it's propaganda. But when you make a film which is of a different sort, that's not propaganda. So this entire logic, this entire facade which has been created by the so-called secular and Tukre gang and all these people, that they are not ready to accept it.
Fauzia, quick 30 seconds. Ambassador Chakrabarti is waiting.
अगर आप बांग्लादेश की बात नहीं कर रहे हो, अगर आप बंगाल में जेनोसाइड हुआ हिंदूज की बात नहीं कर रहे हो, तो फिर आप गाजा की और पैलेस्टाइन की बात भी मत करो. Keep silence, keep mum. You can't be selective about your issues.
Fauzia, this is the very country that India ensured receives its liberation back in 1971. We celebrate their victory day. We share the common Bengali pride. So how can we just say that, okay, it's in your
It's all
neighborhood?
about
Let
human.
me
It's
enlighten
not
you
Dhaka.
about
It's
India's
not
foreign policy.
Bangladesh.
No. Let me remind you and enlighten you about India's foreign policy. Act East, neighborhood first. These are all very significant foreign policy initiatives under the current regime, only to ensure that India plays the big brother role to these countries. So why not raise your voice when minorities there are being murdered, brutally lynched and burnt?
You should raise. Why not? It's not about raising the voice. I'm not saying, I'm not against raising the voice. I'm saying, why all the time you are targeting film industry and calling them on the stage and asking them to talk? Are they only people in the world who will talk about it?
No, everybody is called. Everybody is called.
Ashok ji,
Okay,
everybody
Ambassador
is called.
Chakrabarti, my
Everybody is called.
apologies for
Everybody
making
is
you
called.
wait so
Everybody
much,
is called.
but I
He's
think
talking about
I want to
Khan.
quickly rein you in as a more unifying voice as always. 2,900 documented cases of violence against minorities. The figure has been shared by the spokesperson today. It of course indicates a sharp increase after 2,400 to over 2,400 was endorsed by Dr. S. Jaishankar in March of this year. What do you make of this rising figure?
Well, firstly, I think we must remember that there is an overhang of history. That overhang goes back to the partition. The mindsets that were created by the partition, by the emergence of an Islamic state, Pakistan, that's all affected everybody. And I think this must be remembered. We in India decided that we will not go down that road and we will not become a Hindu Rashtra. We will remain a secular Rashtra. The reasons were very clear. We had a large Muslim population here. So people, I think the leaders of that time thought that let's, quieten things down. Let's be secular. Let's treat everybody equally. No religion must get precedence. That was not the case in Pakistan, where it became Islamic. And don't forget that in 1947, there was a huge exodus, from both sides. More, I suppose, from the other side than from here. What happened? I think today the Bangladeshi Hindus are down to about 8%. It used to be more than 30 in United Bengal. Now, what are we looking at? I think one is, of course, the ideological basis, the pillars of the state of Pakistan, basically calls it an Islamic state. So as a non-Muslim, you become second-class citizens. Same thing happened in Bangladesh. Not just 47, but I think after that also during East Pakistan, the exodus continued. I mean, it used to spike sometimes when there was political trouble or some kind of, violence there. 65 war, it went up. 71, we all know how many people came to India. And after that, it kept on coming. I mean, it never stopped. There is a very famous professor in Dhaka University, Professor Abul Baraka. He's done extensive research on this. And he, in fact, predicted, for which he was, I think he's in jail now because he said those things and the Jamaatis and others didn't like it.
Right.
Because he was a liberal, he said that in the next 30 years, not a single Hindu will be left in Bangladesh. This is his comment, not mine. And he has written a book on it as to how the Hindus have been progressively deprived of their land, their properties, etc., so that the Muslims can take it. This is a fact. I mean, let's not run away from it. So today,
what can be more shocking that if you want to marry your daughter within the community, you have to pay the radicals for a Hindu girl to be married within the community. Such is the plight, if I may tell you. This is information from ground zero, Ambassador.
Yes, I know. I was there for 6 years. I know all these things. I used to get requests from, educated Hindu families, pleading with me to give their daughters a visa to come to India and stay here or study here, etc. So, I don't need to be told that these things happen in Bangladesh.
Yes. But
So
I
I
just had
think,
to enlighten the viewers about
yeah, sure. A lot of new things are coming up now. So basically, one is that there are two aspects to this attack on Hindus. One is the religious radical aspect. The other is the takeover of property and land, because Hindus did own a lot of land and property in Bangladesh, and the Muslims who did not have so much of property, they were larger in number, always coveted this. And one of the ways they used to do it is to attack them, attack the women particularly, so that the families felt so frightened that they ran away. And so I think this has happened in Bangladesh for a very long time.
right.
Oh, I must say that Bengali culture and the secular outlook, which a section of the Bangladesh have always had, prevented, many more harsh reprisals against the Hindus.
Okay.
And so I think, but that is breaking down now, because it broke down because of certain politics within the country, and because the Hindus vote in a particular manner, so they came under attack. And today, of course, you see a complete breakdown of law and order and lawlessness spreading all over.
I want to also bring in Fawzia on that note. Fawzia, it's famously said that what's personal is political. The fact that we share a border, infiltration has been an issue. There have been movies that have been made as far as border security tensions are concerned, the genocides are concerned. Why shouldn't the Indian film industry be as vocal about an issue which impacts all of us? Tomorrow, these very radicals could be spilling over across our borders. There's already credible evidence backing the fact that you have an Arakan Rohingya army currently being prepared and backed by Pakistan.
Yes, of course, everybody in India, everybody across the world should talk against it and should talk that this all what is happening, whether it is Bangladesh or wherever, it's bad. It should not happen in it. But there is one more thing. Tweeting, do you think that just writing, tweeting, saying something over television will solve the problem? Then everybody in the world should do it. No, it will not solve the problem. Somebody like Ashok ji should take up that initiative, should become the leader, and should come up with some kind of concrete demonstrations wherein it could affect the entire world and shakes the entire world. What is this like? What will happen if Amitabh Bachchan comes and tweets about it? How will it matter? Nothing is going to happen. There should be some solutions. We should not talk.
Fair ask. Let me bring in Ashok Pandit on that note for a rebuttal to that. That's a fair ask. But we are also living in times of social media where outreach is also governed by social media. At the same time, Ashok ji, as you respond, do look at these visuals and the way the anger is now spilling out on streets, not just in Bangladesh. Today itself, we are being told that the Bangladesh National Hindu Grand Alliance took to the streets in Dhaka. At the same time, you've seen the kind of protests that are taking place in Kolkata. There's a lot of anger. Hindus feel violated. They are feeling unheard. And yes, as role models, what ought to be done? Fawzia, I'll come to you. Ashok ji.
Well, Akanksha, with due respect to Fawzia ji, you see, the point is that she advised us that I should take up this entire issue. I think we have been doing this from last 40 years. We have been fighting our battle with a lot of energies and a lot of power, whatever we have. The point is not whether industry should keep silent or not silent. What I would like to tell, what pains us is when an actress called Radhika Apte says that I will not allow my child to grow in this country of ours, India. She's an Indian, and when she gives such, statements about our country and remains silence when Deepu Das is burnt and hanged, creates a doubt in their activity.
Right.
Which country they belong to, which country they do they represent is what is more important for Zia.
Okay.
They are raising a voice. I agree to you. we should say that we should raise voice everywhere and anywhere wherever.
Because you see, cinema is
raised my
also
voice
a
when
reflection
Gujarat
of the
happened.
society.
Cinema, why should you keep ourselves away from other industries? We also belong to this country.
Okay, I'm running short of time. I want to give
should we
quick
not talk
closing
about
thoughts
it?
to
And if you-
Ambassador Chakrabarti over there. Ambassador, are you satisfied? I know you'll be very humble in saying I'm nobody to show my satisfaction with India's response, but we've seen enough happen across the border, whether it is, say, attack on the diplomatic missions, on the minorities, a lot of blame game as far as Hadi's killing was concerned. Of course, later on, the truth was put out there. But are you satisfied with the kind of quiet diplomacy that India is resorting to?
You know, diplomacy is not about knee-jerk reaction that you simply get up and start shooting. That's not the way diplomacy works. And I should know, I've been a diplomat for 37 years. So what you do is you wait it out for some time and see how it's going. After all, it is an internal problem in that country. And we have a very important rule in international relations, which of course the big powers tend to ignore. That is, you don't interfere in the internal affairs of another country. This is a very well laid out international sort of dictum or a policy that everybody has to follow. Generally, it is supposed to be. But then that doesn't mean that see, our problem is that Bangladesh and Pakistan are neighbors. We share borders and we have a legacy, and that legacy is that of the partition. This we cannot forget. This does not apply to Sri Lanka, to Nepal, to any other country. This is the legacy that we have inherited. And this is how the communal or whatever things that happened at that time has persisted in our society. Because there are ideological factors. For example, the question about why are we so concerned about Palestine? Yes, the liberal opinion throughout the world has condemned what's happened in Palestine.
All right.
But don't forget that the Islamic ideology believes in the Ummah. The Ummah is that every Muslim is your brother, wherever he is or she is your sister if it's a lady. And I think one will have to empathize with their condition, etc., etc.
Okay.
So, but it does not apply to other religions. Hence, the fact that others don't talk about that. The last point, I mean, if you give me one second, is the question about Bollywood. I think Bollywood is a different world and different creatures living in it. They believe that they have a very secular and they have which is probably true, that we have so many people of different religions involved in Bollywood. I suspect that there is a little bit of fear that if you speak out too much, then you won't get your next contract. That I think is another fact.
But let secularism not be mistaken for wokeism, and perhaps Bollywood needs to remember that, as all of those actors who are now resorting to that kind of woke culture perhaps could turn a new leaf. And for Bangladesh, we do hope that there's a new dawn of democracy with 2026 round the corner, and perhaps the regime can ensure a free, fair and inclusive election. Many thanks to you all.